Hello, this is Professor Kim Nelson with the Jewelry Design Department at the Fashion Institute of Technology, doing another one of our tutorials for Basic Rhino JD138. This project is continuing on with our 1-carat bridal ring, engagement ring. So, we left off here. What we need to see is how wide we want this shank to be. And the best way to do that, class, is to extrude this out and look at it. We want both sides. We want it solid, yes. Disable your object snaps. Make sure grid snap is off so you can just smoothly rubber band. And what we're trying to see is what we think the widest we want this to be is. I would say that is probably the very widest we'd want it to go. And you can see that poses a problem for us because it actually allows that shank, this is what I was concerned about before, that allows that shank to break free. That tells me we have a problem that needs to be further addressed. And like a bad professor, I threw away one of the curves I'm going to need. I need to get the section curve back that I discarded for the setting. I could undo and copy and whatnot. It's going to be just as fast to go from objects, section. I'll just pull from the center out to the side this time. I only need the section on the one side. Okay, I have some, go to the front view. I have some issues here. I want to get it a little deeper into this wire. If it breaks out of the top, then I have another problem to deal with. Okay? So I have to be careful. This is my wire, and if I break out the top, I'll see a big corner there. I guesstimated I'd have enough room. I need to get more length here. So I'm going to actually extend my curve using this as my boundary. So select my boundary object and extend this curve. That will give me a little bit of room. Going to do my line perpendicular from curve with my end object snap again. From first point. That's fine. Now we know that Rhino hates coincidental surfacing, and since I'm going to use a Boolean union like I usually do to assemble things, this could cause me a problem. So I'll remove it. By about that much. And I want to cut this off too. Line perpendicular from curve, from first point, curve fillet curves, throw that away. So I'm going to use conics to build the rest of the shank. Conic, tangent from the end of this curve, tangent to the end of this curve. Nice, soft, and round. Fine. Again, tangent from the end of this curve, tangent to the end of this curve. Fine. Going to join this geometry together. Join. And actually, I'm going to join this whole segment together. I'm going to come over here and remove that geometry from this side so I don't have any mistakes. Mirror. Straight over. And then fillet curves to tidy this up. Delete that. Join these together and we should have once again a nice closed curve. Closed curve. Fine. Can delete that circle. I'm going to leave that one because I threw it away once already and regretted it. So bring back the setting in the stone. And extrude curve. Straight. Both sides, solid yes. And this should give me a little more range to pull that out. That should be fine as far as the maximum width. Okay. It's still going to cause me a certain amount of headache. And I have to decide what I want to do with that. I think it's going to be fine. I know what's going to happen with the rest of this. But actually, I'm looking at the bottom of the setting now and seeing how it's kind of buried. So I think that's a little too wide. Actually, rather than re-extruding, I'm going to non-uniform scale. Scale. Origin point, 0. I don't want to scale it this direction, so I'll keep it at 1. I do want to scale it this direction. So I'm going to pull it in. I think about right there. Z, I want to keep at 1. That's fine. Okay. Now, this is not the piece I'm going to use. This was just to sketch, to see what I need, and to get some curves off of to build what I actually want to build. I'm going to extract an iso curve from this surface. It's going in the long direction. I want it to go in the short. I know the default is U. So if I just type V, enter, it'll give me the V. And I want to come right up on top. And actually, that looks like a surface edge, which would do nicely. So I'm going to use the edge of surface instead. Curve from objects, duplicate edge. Fine. That gives me what I want. Okay. Now that I have what I want, I'm going to non-uniform scale this again. Starting from 0. 1 is fine in that direction. I want to take it a little bit wide now in this direction. That's probably got you all shaking your heads going, what is he doing? I'm going to use a Boolean difference to shape this the way I want it shaped. And I know I want it to be that maximum width. In fact, I'll put 2 point objects on the end of this line so you can see it. I want it that width, but if I'm going to have to cut stuff away, we all know Rhino hates coincidental surfaces, so I gave myself a little extra meat to cut with. That's all. I need a cutting plane. I need it to pass through this point, and I need it to run through the stone like this. When you're making a cutting plane, remember it always runs perpendicular straight towards you from the current construction plane. So if I wanted to do a cutting plane from this top C plane, it'd have to cut it from here. If I wanted it to be from the front C plane, it'd have to cut through here. I don't want either one of those. I want it through here, which means I need the right C plane. See? Now I'm going to create that cutting plane. Plane, cutting plane. I'm going to use either end or point. If you made points like I did, get it on point. If you just have a line with no, then put it on end. Select objects for cutting plane. Enter when done. Take that point. Remember, all Rhino wants is a direction. So it doesn't matter how far or which direction, whether up or down you go. Hold your shift key down to make sure it's straight. And there's your cutting plane. I want to mirror that with history. So record history, select it, transform, mirror, starting point 0, pull straight up. Leave this one selected so that when you actually go to the right view, which is what we're going to do now, you can see which one it is. See, you would have thought it's over here, but right view flips it around. Okay? I'm going to rotate. And I'm going to use that point. So I'm hoping you put up the point, because as I come in here, I'm realizing that even the point is hard to see. In fact, you can really only see it in wireframe. It's right there. Okay. I want to taper the shank. And I'm going to do it by eye. That's nice. Fine. Back in, sorry, past it. Back into perspective view. Now I'm going to use these surfaces to boolean and shape the shank. But I have to have them going the right direction. We want to keep the middle. So far so good. So far so good. They both face the right way using analyze direction. So solid, difference, click, click, and enter. It broke history, we don't care. And that's the basic blank for our shank. Okay. There's still a fair amount to be done to it. Among other things, we want to fillet it. And we all know how much fun that can be. So, before I commence filleting, I will return this to top C plane and stop the tutorial and continue on from here with the next one. Thank you.